Good evening. If anyone in the audience requires a headset for Spanish translation, please raise your hand and a device will be provided for you.
Por favor, si alguien en la audiencia requiere algunos audífonos para que se les traduzca al español, por favor levanten su mano en cualquier momento y se les va a proveer un dispositivo para la traducción.
Welcome to the Palm Springs Unified School District regular meeting of the Board of Education. Today is Tuesday, January 27th, 2026. We're so glad to have you here with us, whether you're joining us in person or watching along on YouTube. Thank you for being part of tonight's meeting. I will now call the meeting to order. Can I get a roll call?
Member Jarrell. Here. Member Espericueta. Here. Member Girardi.
Here.
Board Clerk Irvin.
Here.
And Board President Cornett.
Here.
We also have Student Board Member Inting.
Here. The Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Clayton Hill.
All right, please stand.
Ready, begin. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Our mission statement will be read by Board Member John Girardi in English and Board Member Sergio Espericueta in Spanish.
All members of the Palm Springs Unified School District are united in our commitment to equity. We create deep, meaningful learning opportunities, build professionalism, and engage parents and community to ensure success for all students. All students graduate with the skills, capacity, and confidence needed to succeed in a rapidly changing world.
Misión del Distrito Escolar Unificado de Palm Springs. Todos los miembros del Distrito Escolar Unificado de Palm Springs están unidos en nuestro compromiso con la equidad. Creamos oportunidades de aprendizaje profundas y significativas. Creamos profesionalismo e involucramos a los padres y a la comunidad para garantizar el éxito de todos los estudiantes. Todos los estudiantes se gradúan con las habilidades, capacidades y confianza necesaria para tener éxito en un mundo de cambio rápido.
Thank you. Our land acknowledgement will be read by Board Member Madonna Jarrell.
The Palm Springs Unified School District acknowledges the Cahuilla as the original stewards of the land on which the Palm Springs Unified School District facilities now sit. We are grateful to have the opportunity to work with the indigenous people in this place. We pay our respect to the Cahuilla people, past, present, and emerging, who have been here since time immemorial.
Report of closed session actions. Clerk Irvin, are there any closed session actions to report?
Yes, in closed session, the board took action to release the following administrative employee from their administrative position and reassign them as applicable to either the classroom teaching position or the speech language pathology pursuant to the Education Code Section 951, effective at the end of the 25-26 school year, and directed the superintendent or designee to send out the appropriate legal notice, employee 200020 and 191860. So in closed session, the board took action to release the following administrative employee to their administrative director position and reassign them to a coordinator position pursuant to the Education Code Section 44951, effective at the end of the 25-26 school year, and directed the superintendent or the designee to send out the appropriate legal notice, employee 183579.
Both of them, both. You need to read this right here.
Okay.
Both.
Okay.
Member Irvin, can you please tell us the votes?
Vote was unanimous, 5-0.
Number 7, approval of the agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
I move.
Second.
Are there any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed. Board consent items. Approval of the meeting minutes for January 13th, 2026. Can I get a motion to approve those minutes?
Move for approval.
Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
I abstain.
I'll abstain also.
So there are 4 approved and 1 abstention. Motion passed. Special recognitions. The governing board wishes to recognize the following student board members for Members Appreciation Month. Would you like to read their names, please?
Yes, at this time, we ask Tracy Ted Inting, Leslie Aguilar Hernandez, Sarah Singh, and Olivia Aparicio to the front, as well as the Board of Education and Executive Cabinet, please. We welcome Tracy Ted Inting to the front, please. Leslie Aguilar Hernandez. And Sarah Singh. Not present with us this evening is student board member Olivia Aparicio from Rancho Mirage High School.
You all line up right here. It is Board Appreciation Month, and I want us to make sure that we make give a loud round of applause for these young scholars who are examples for the rest of their colleagues, classmates, students. Let's give them a round of applause. Yeah. Leslie, Sarah, Tracy, you have been role models, examples to our other young scholars coming up. You've actually also been examples for us who do this work on a daily basis to support our scholars as well. And when you sit up there on that dais and the words that you speak and the thoughts that you have and the questions that you pose to us, we are impressed by you and we thank you for your service. I got a few things to read and we want to make sure that we end this the right way. So we want to give special thanks to our scholars or our student board members. Your voices, your perspectives, and your leadership truly matter. And we value the time and thought you bring to our school district. Thank you for representing your peers, asking thoughtful questions, and helping guide our district forward. We appreciate your commitment and the impact that you make on a daily basis. As a small token of our appreciation, the Board of Education and the Superintendent's Office have a wonderful gift for you. You didn't even know that, right? A wonderful gift for you in recognition of your service and commitment. Thank you for your service. We appreciate you. Oh, they already got the gift. Can someone tell us what that wonderful gift is in that bag right there? We can't let... And that is? Oh! Sorry. All right, let's thank our board members. Job well done. We appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tracy, Leslie, and Sarah. Thank you, guys. You may be seated. At this time, the governing board wishes to recognize and commend the following parents for completing the Strengthening Families program through the Family Engagement Center. Can we please have Blanca Valdez and Patricia Chan come to the front? They will also be joined by Monica Nyland. We're going to hear a few short words from Monica Nyland from the Family Engagement Center.
Hi, good evening. My name is Monica Nyland. I'm the office technician for the Family and Community Engagement Department, and we just want to say how proud we are. These families completed 14 weeks, I said 14 weeks of study, and have learned many valuable skills. To tell you a little bit more about that, we have the Latino Commission, Alan Lopez Mora, who's going to say a few words. They're the ones that provided the courses for the parents, and they have an amazing team that did an amazing work at Bubbling Wells Elementary.
Hello, everyone. Again, my name is Alan Mora Lopez. I'm the coordinator for the Strengthening Families program. These were two families that were able to commit 14 weeks of their time once a week for 2 hours and a half, which is a huge commitment, and we're so proud of them for coming here and being recognized by the school district. The Strengthening Families program is an evidence-based program, and it's one of the only programs that the kids and the parents learn together to become a stronger family. We provide a dinner for them, we provide childcare, we even provide transportation, eliminating any barriers so they can attend this program that ultimately strengthens their family and strengthens the community as well. So round of applause for them.
Thank you, everyone. And this concludes our special recognitions.
Item 10, public comment. Clerk Irvin, have we received any electronic comments?
Yes, we have received one electric comment, which was distributed to the Board of Education.
Thank you. All comments are be directed, the in-person comments to the board be under 3 minutes and shall be devoid of any personal attacks. Members of the public are expected to maintain a professional, courteous decorum during public comments. Board members do not respond to public comments. Do we have any members of the public who wish to address the Board of Education? Guess not. So we'll go on to number 11, public hearing. The board now opens the public hearing on the initial proposal for successor agreement from the Palm Springs Unified School District to the Palm Springs Teachers Association, PSTA, OE 4.9, and the initial proposal for successor agreement from Palm Springs Teacher Association, PSTA, to the Palm Springs Unified School District, OE-4.9. Have any comments been received by the district as to the initial proposal for successor agreement from the Palm Springs Unified School District to the Palm Springs Teachers Association, PSTA OE 4.9, or the initial proposal for successor agreement from the Palm Springs Teacher Association, PSTA, to the Palm Springs Unified School District, OE 4.9?
No written comments have been received.
Is there anyone present who wishes to provide verbal comments on the initial proposal for the successor agreement from the Palm Springs Unified School District to the Palm Springs Teachers Association, OE 4.9, or the initial proposal for the successor agreement from Palm Springs Teachers Association to the Palm Springs Unified School District, OE 4.9? Seeing there's no comments, later in the agenda, the governing board will approve the initial proposal for successor agreement from the Palm Springs from PSUSD to the from PSTA, and the initial proposal for successor agreement from PSTA to the Palm Springs Unified School District. Seeing there's no oral comments, I declare the public hearing closed. Number 12. Our board members' report will be presented by Tracy Intig from Palm Springs High School. Tracy?
Hello, my name is Tracy Ted Inting, and this is my presentation for the months of December and January. It's been a while since I've last presented. The last time was November, so I'm excited to show you guys what our school has been up to. On the agenda today, I have five things. So the first is giving thanks to the World Walk Around, student excellence in attendance and post-graduation development, our winter sport conclusions and the success that they had, our community family giving day, and the winter formal rally and dance recap. So to begin, the first event for the month of December was our Giving Thanks to the World event. This was on December 4th, and the world language teachers and students worked together to showcase many of the countries of our planet. The students, they researched and they created display boards showcasing location, culture, food, and traditions. So as I show on those pictures there are a lot of different display boards. So places like Vietnam, Chile, Peru, Greece, Puerto Rico, and even our Ballet Folklorico, they performed as well. And this was open to all students. They were able to come during the day and see the amazing work that they had presented there. And overall, it was a great showcase of culture, community, and just a great time. Our world language students are just one example of our academic excellence within our school. Some of our seniors recently completed their scholarship packets, and some are already being accepted early into a lot of colleges. Some of those include San Diego State, UC Riverside, Fullerton, Cal State San Bernardino, and CSUN, which is Cal State Northridge. And that's amazing for them. That is great that they're getting early admissions into the colleges that they enjoy. And on the left there, that's some of my friends. They are holding a paper, and that paper is a civic engagement project. So with that project, they are helping to contribute to a better community. And this is the first year that our AP government is able to participate, and that's great. So besides the civic and economics classes, we have our AP government class, and they are working to better their community through research, presentations, and just communicating with our administration. And additionally, many of our students were recognized for better attendance, for improved attendance, and just outstanding attendance. They received a lot of different incentives. They had gift cards from In-N-Out, from Mary Pickford, and Miss Amir and Mr. Ventura are up there, and they greeted them. And that's just something great for us to recognize that our students are coming to our school, they're being there, they're being active. And that's something that is really great for our school and our school spirit. Up next are our winter sports, and winter has been a really great season of success for all of us. For one, wrestling completed their senior night, and many of our seniors are going to DEL to play, to compete, and that's great for them to have that opportunity. Boys basketball went undefeated in league, and tonight they play Palm Desert, and they are likely to win the DEL or their league. And girls water polo, sorry, they are moving on to the DEL finals. That is an amazing accomplishment. That is the first time that they've been there since 2012. So that has been 14 years in the making, and that was great. That's up there. I have girls soccer and boys soccer. I saw Leslie, and we may have won, but sorry, just showing my school pride. But yeah, it's just great. It's great that our sports are having some great success, and yeah, great job to all of those guys. This one's special for me. So this is the Community Giving Day. Me and some of my ASB friends, we volunteered, and this event is humbling. It's amazing to see our students giving out toys to families in need in times where they're struggling, and hearing their stories, hearing what they had to say about their struggling life situations. It's touching. Like, it really felt like deep. Just being able to provide a moment of leeway for them. I was an MC. I served as basically an interviewer. Dr. Funches was there, and that was great to interview him at the event. But overall, just a really positive experience, and I was so glad to be there. Last up, this is really recent. This is it's our winter formal rally and dance. So on the left, I included a little photo, a few photos. My friends, my juniors, they had a big poster that counted down to winter formal, and that really boosted our attendance at the event. It was really great. We had a winter formal rally the day before, and it was great. Our Ballet Folklorico participated. Our band participated, our dance team participated, just a lot of great things. And our band was actually, we recognized them for the event the trip that they had to Rome, where they were one of really few bands that were able to perform in Rome, and that was great to recognize them at such a big event. And overall, just a great experience. Winter Formal was really, really fun. We had a good amount of attendance, and yeah, that wraps my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy. Number 13, presentation, educational service updates, OE-10. Dr. Kovac?
Yes, I am very pleased to introduce Jennifer Avner, our Coordinator of Special Education Related Services, and Jessica Whiteman, our Director of Elementary Curriculum and Instruction, and they're going to be focusing on our paraprofessional extended learning opportunities this evening. You're in for a treat.
Is that better? Okay. On behalf of Jen Avner, Maribel Castro, Hertosa, and myself, we are excited to be here tonight and share with you an extended learning opportunity that we are providing elementary paraprofessionals in our district. To our knowledge, we are proud to share that we are the first in the state to provide this opportunity to classified staff, specifically our paraprofessionals. But before I get started, I do want to give a special shout out to Human Resources, Teamsters, our technology department, and our state and federal department as well, who collaborated with us to make this opportunity possible. Okay, so as you can see, this course is an extended learning opportunity for paras around the science of reading. So all of our paraprofessionals at the elementary level have had training around the science of reading in August and October, but this is an opportunity to go deeper into some targeted areas and to align with the programs that we have and opportunities we have provided for our teachers. It is very similar to the letters module that we provided for certificated teachers. And as you can see from this graphic up here, we believe that literacy is a team effort and every member matters. So we want to make sure that we're bringing our paraprofessionals along with all of the new learning that's taking place in our district. These are slides that we shared at the kickoff with the paraprofessionals, making sure that everyone understands that literacy is a right for our students. It provides the foundation for lifelong learning in all areas. All students have that ability to learn to read, and we looked at our data and we talked about our responsibility in closing those gaps for our students. We wanted to provide shared professional development, as I mentioned, to align with what our teachers are learning so they can support in the classroom, remove barriers for student, and essentially make sure that we recognize that everyone's path may look a little different, but it's critical for each and every student to become a confident and competent reader. So we advertised this course and had an informational meeting for any paraprofessional who was interested in October. We had 41 paraprofessionals end up signing up for our pilot course. They came from our special education classrooms, including representing functional life skills, SDC, and our RSP program, and paraprofessionals supporting our general education classrooms, including working in TK classrooms, kindergarten classrooms, our reading intervention rooms, and then some of our site-funded paraprofessionals as well. So we have a very well-represented group of paraprofessionals in this opportunity. We kicked off the course November 17th, and it will complete March 24th of this year. All participants, because this is on their own time, this is all on their personal time, are receiving an $850 stipend for their time spent learning. Part of the requirements is, as I mentioned, they had a kickoff meeting, and then there are 3 modules, one that focuses on oral language, one on phonemes, and then the third one is phonics and spelling. They complete a different amount of asynchronous coursework depending on the module, followed by an in-person workshop after each module. So what that asynchronous work looks like, it's from the 95% group. So they are a publisher of materials and they provide training around the science of reading as well. It's a total of 10 hours on those 3 modules I mentioned, and it's done independently on a computer. So it consists of reading, they have video examples, journaling, and they take assessments. And then we added this component here is in-person workshops. So after each module, as I mentioned, our TOSA and Mrs. Abner and myself, we all get together and plan an interactive workshop where the paraprofessionals get to come together, review the online content with their peers. We make intentional connections to programs that are being used with students in Palm Springs Unified. We go through instructional routines that support the learning as well, and then they get time to engage with one another to apply and practice. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Abner so she can take a deeper look into the practical applications of the course.
Thank you, Jessica. Hello, everybody. Our courses are intentionally designed to honor the role of the paraprofessional and include the variety of curriculum that we have present throughout the district and scenarios which reflect the unique learner profiles that we have throughout Palm Springs Unified. You'll see, for example, that we have an example of an augmentative alternative communication board for our students who might need additional support with receptive and expressive language. Curriculum from the Unique Learning Systems classrooms, which are our functional life skills program, students who are on an alternative diploma track. We have curriculum from Wonders, which is seen throughout our general education, mild, moderate, and RSP and co-taught classrooms. Also embedded within the workshops are bridge to practice scenarios, which give our paraprofessionals the opportunity to focus on targeted strategies throughout the entire educational setting. You can see here a scenario where we are working on implementing the science of reading in a natural setting, such as walking to the cafeteria or even out on the playground. Also embedded within our workshop is a growing resource library for our paraprofessional so that we can build on these reflective practices and promote the idea that lifelong learning is not just for our students, but for our staff members as well. We've had a positive impact on student outcomes already through this program. We've been strengthening our literacy initiative through empowering and equipping all of our educators, which includes our dedicated classified staff. We have in the elementary setting alone 319 paraprofessionals who support literacy throughout each and every school day across the entire educational setting. We recognize that our staff are uniquely positioned to support students in this important work, whether it is on the playground, in the cafeteria, in an ELA room, in a math or a science room, or even in a specials program. We are working on unifying our instructional team and aligning our professional development for certificated and classified. So all of our educators who work with students are speaking a common instructional language and working together to impact student outcomes with regard to literacy. I'd also like to add an aside. Our paraprofessionals in special education, for example, outnumber our teachers from 4 to 1. So we are really focusing on mining these unique classified staff members and their position to support students throughout the entire class day and school day, We've had some overwhelmingly positive feedback. We've snapped some pictures from our Bridge to Practice hands-on workshops. And we have noted that our paraprofessionals, they're feeling more connected to student outcomes, they're feeling more engaged with the curriculum, and they are feeling more equipped to support our students. I encourage you to join us in the culminating workshop on March 24th, 2026, where our very first cohort will be graduating from our Literacy Foundational Tools program. This is an example of one of the little things that we're doing to honor our classified staff members. Everyone who completes this program will receive a digital badge that they can add to their email signature. And what are our next steps? Well, I'm excited to announce that we have our cohort 2, which begins on February 11th. We already have our 40 candidates who are enrolled, and we have a wait list of over 46 paraprofessionals. We've expanded cohort number 2 to include TK through grade 12 paraprofessionals with differentiated bridge to practice experiences embedded within the workshops. And my hope is that in the 2026-2027 school year, we can have 3 additional cohorts, one focusing specifically on elementary, one on secondary, and one for our extensive support needs classrooms, formerly known as functional life skills, which is an alternate diploma track. And in case you were wondering, what are we doing about math? Well, I'm excited to tell you that in spring of 2026, we are beginning the Secondary Math Academy. I've only sent out 1 flyer, and I already have 56 emails from paraprofessionals who are eager to learn more about how they can work with the UC Irvine project to support our students in secondary math. Thank you so much very much for your time.
Are there any questions?
Excellent presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next up, we have developing a purposeful smartphone policy, OE10. Dr. Kovacs.
Yes, our Executive Director of Student Learning, Mr. Mark Arnold, will be reviewing the process that we began last year and have taken to this point. On the board agenda tonight, we have a first read of our board policy around the new smartphone requirements that go into place or go into effect July 1st, 2026. So I'll turn it over to Mark.
Jessica, you turned it off on me. Tonight we're going to be talking about developing a purposeful smartphone policy. So with that, we basically had 2 goals that we were focusing on. We're going to goal 1 was to prohibit or limit student use of smartphones and other mobile communication devices during the school day to support student mental health and learning. And the second one was to align with the California legal requirements for implementation beginning for the 26-27 school year. In addition to those 2 goals, we did hear from a number of our educational partners just concerns with safety, so we wanted to make sure as we're developing this policy that we were taking that into account as well. So we're going to start by talking about the key legislation, AB 3216, which is really kind of leading this focus for a lot of districts, for all districts in California, to get these plans in place by July 1st. So it was approved by the governor on September 23rd of 2024. And basically it's known as the Phone Free Schools Act. It's to promote evidence-based use of smartphone practices to support pupil learning and well-being, and requires school districts to adopt a policy to limit or prohibit the use of smartphones by July 1 of 2026. The policy must be updated every 5 years, and we must engage district educational partners in that policy development. It also may include enforcement mechanisms that limit smartphone access. In addition to that legislation, we also have Education Code, which states that students shall not be prohibited from possessing or using a smartphone under any of the following circumstances. In the case of an emergency or in response to a perceived threat of danger, when a teacher or administrator grants permission, when a licensed physician or surgeon determines it's necessary for the health or well-being of that student, and when required in a pupil's individualized education program. So there's a lot of research to support the implementation of these smartphone or cell phone policies. Here is just a list of a number of potential risks from excessive social media use. I won't go through all of them. I'll point out just a few, like the second one, social comparison and low self-esteem, followed by cyberbullying and physical fights from hate-based content. And down at near the bottom, we have increase in teenage anxiety, depression, and suicide, and it does have negative impacts on the actual academic performance of our students. So last year, we began and we developed a smartphone task force. The composition of that task force, we had elementary and secondary teachers, site administrators, and classified staff that were represented. We also had district administrators involved, PSLA and Teamsters representation. We had parent representation from both the elementary level and the secondary level, and we had secondary student representation. The objective of that task force was the cell phone task force will collaboratively research, develop, and propose a unified cell phone policy to address the challenges of excessive phone use in schools while creating learning environments that prioritize students' focus and well-being. One of the first things we did, this is back in January of last year, was we sent out a cell phone survey to all of our educational partners. You can see that the total number of responses were 4,621. That includes students and adults. We separated because on the left-hand side is the full responses, the overall responses, and on the right-hand side is really the adults, the parents and guardians and the staff. You'll see that there are some discrepancies between how they perceive some of these things. So we're just going to look at some of the data here, and then we'll continue to go on.
So quick question. This one here on the left has the staff and the kids are included?
It does, staff and parents. So like just about little over 1,000 people are included, but then about 3,600 students are in that.
Wait, 4,621, is that?
It's students and the parents and teachers.
Okay, and so the one that's on the right is just staff?
It's just staff and parents or guardians.
Okay.
It's kind of the adults, yeah. Yep. So the first question that we're going to talk about is just school site phone management. How effective do you feel your school is currently managing student phone use? So I will say that the majority of our secondary schools currently do have cell phone policies in place, and we'll talk a little bit more about that as we go through the presentation. So you can see from this that really both the overall population and the parents, guardians, staff have a lot of similarities in how they're viewing it. They're really not stating that they believe that the current cell phone policies are moderately effective, very effective, or extremely effective. You can see in the parents and guardians and staff that there is a little bit higher percentage that is talking about not effective at all. The second point that we'll look at is just dealing with social emotional well-being. So the question asks, what impact do you believe cell phone use has on students' social emotional well-being? So you can see that here we see a bigger discrepancy. The overall group with the students involved really don't see it having that large of an impact, which is different from the parents and the staff that are seeing it have a much more negative impact on the students. Similarly, we have here, the next question is talking about distractions. The question says, student use of cell phones causes distractions during the school day. Students really are self-reporting that it's not causing that many distractions, where you can see the parents and the staff involved are saying that it isn't causing a number of distractions. One of the final questions on the survey, there were other data points, but we didn't go through all of them tonight. One of the final one was just to rank some different cell phone policy options. So the question asked, when thinking about possible cell phone policies, place the following in order of preference, with 1 being your preferred option and 5 being the option of least interest. You can see that the fourth one over is the most positively received, and that states that cell phones remain with the student, no use during class time, but allowed to use during breaks and lunch. And the second one over from the left is the second one there is cell phones remain with students and allowed to use at teacher's discretion. The final question of the survey really was an open-ended response, just to have folks answer anything that they thought was a concern or any questions that they might have. I tried to group those into the most common themes. So you can see, as I talked about earlier, the most common theme was phones are needed in case of emergency and for the safety of the student. And then the second most common one was just that phones should be allowed during lunch and during passing periods. As I said before, when we looked at that first initial data, there's a lot of our educational partners really felt that the way that our secondary sites are currently holding cell phone policies in place is appropriate, and it got pretty positive feedback for us. So when we got our task force together, we really did spend quite a bit of time just looking at what our current cell phone policies are at our different secondary schools, reflecting on what are some of the positive things that are happening and what are some of the negative things, and trying to build our policy from looking at some of those.
Yeah, no, just to understand better this part, and now some schools have restriction with the phone, but the new policy will be the same for the whole school.
Well, we'll talk about that in just a minute. It's a good point. We will have a little difference between the elementary and secondary level, and I will say, well, I'll do it on the next, or in a slide coming up, and then if you still have a question, you can ask me then.
No problem.
Okay. Besides looking at our own district school policies, we also looked at a number of policies of other districts that had adopted and were implementing their policies already. So these are the districts that we were spent a decent amount of time really analyzing those for both positives and negatives about what they implemented and how it was going in their districts. That being said, these are the things that those districts that have adopted and are implementing policies already are reporting. They're saying that students say they're less anxious. Most are implementing phone-free policies without the use of storage products. They cited the cost of the locker installation and the yonder pouches. They're primarily enforcing the storing of devices in backpacks. And they state that the number of fights have reduced and student engagement has increased. They do say that there are challenges during lunch and passing periods, mainly with students trying to access their phones during that time. And there has been a noticeable reduction in referrals and increased student engagement. So this brings us to the policy. You have access to the full policy, but I'm just going to hit on kind of the key points, and this goes to your point, Mr. Espargata, is that the elementary level students in grades TK through 5 may not use mobile communication devices such as smartphones, smart glasses, smart watches, wireless earbuds, or other mobile communication devices once they've entered the campus. Devices shall be turned off and put away during school hours. At the secondary level, we say students in grades 6 through 12 shall have mobile communication devices turned off and put away during instructional time and passing periods, but may use mobile communication devices on campus during lunch. So I say that, and then you can see there is a caveat there. There's a little asterisk that says that if you're a school site that wants to implement the more stringent elementary policy, they can, as long as they have school site council approval. And I'll say that because we do a number of the policies that are currently in place at some of our middle schools and high schools are no, and you can see that in that slide, no cell from bell to bell. They're having no access whatsoever. Okay?
So Mark, I got a question for that.
Sure.
So with the secondary and the elementary, what was the determining factor to decide that the secondary needed to have a little bit of an option and the elementary school has none? What was the reason for that?
Well, one, I don't think at the elementary level we have a lot of concerns with the use of the cell phone. So I think right now we're not seeing that the students actively engage with their smartphones. So that wasn't the elementary really didn't have a lot of concerns about not having access to the phone. I will say at the secondary level, there was differing opinions. There were definitely people that felt that wanted the yonder pouches to be adopted and put them in and have kids have no access whatsoever. But I think when we started to really look at the policies, we really tried to look at some of the sites that currently have policies in place had started by allowing access to students at passing periods and lunch, and they felt the passing periods was actually a disruption to the educational system and kind of the transition between classrooms. So they felt that allowing them only at lunch allowed kids to have access to them, allowed them to get some, as I said, some access to their phones and kind of keep them content to some degree. And that was kind of the main thing, was just that I think the sites that had implemented policies already felt that giving phones at lunchtime was kind of the most successful one that they had.
I know I got the secondary part of it, but so with the elementary, if it seems like it wasn't an issue, why not just make it all just one, one straight across instead of having the, the strict, harsher one for elementary school? I mean, did the parents, was it mentioned at all by any of the parents? Was it mentioned by the administration, by the teachers, or anyone that you can kind of say that this is the reason why we took this stance with elementary?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of research showing that the developmental levels has a higher impact on our students. So I think we did have some pretty vocal parents in that group that really felt there should be absolutely no contact. And a lot of them felt that that should be the case all the way through the grade levels. So it was just really looking at the majority of opinions that we had, and the majority felt that elementary did not need to have access during the school day.
And so this reason with this caveat here with this star, are we going to make sure that the parents are aware that this is something that's a possibility for their school, to give them the ability to be able to do this, And the reason I say that is because school site council is pretty limited. I think there's 2 representatives for school site council that are parents. Is that correct? For the schools?
No, there should be, I mean, you should have at least 4 parents on that committee.
Okay, and
Yeah.
so those 4 parents, are we going to let anyone know outside of
Yeah.
that little small group of because just some parents might feel different at certain schools, and I think it's unfair to have this absolute no cell phone policy with only 4 people making that decision.
Yeah, so we will, like, once we get this approved, we will start really communicating what these policies are. So that's kind of the biggest impetus the biggest push between basically when it's approved in February and through the remainder of the school year, is to make sure that everybody's aware of that policy and all the different contingencies that are involved in it.
And one more follow-up question, and I'll let you go, Karen. Follow-up question, have we considered what it's going to look like if we have any kind of student pushback to where the students aren't giving their cell phones away? And have we thought about if there's going to be suspensions, expulsions, different things like that that'll go into place when these students decide that they don't want to give their cell phones away?
Yeah, we've noted that it's not a suspendable offense. And so I think one of the last slides has a link to a support document that really talks about, we're trying to be more proactive in supporting students. So whether that's counseling support that's needed, whether that's meeting and just having some restorative talks about how to use your cell phones, but we're trying to go more proactive about making sure that kids can be, or scholars can be successful with this policy. If it's a chronic offender, then probably there will be some consequences, but suspension would not be one of those options.
Thank you.
Yep.
Mark, my question is, as a solution to maybe some of the abuses and some of the misuse of social media, someone suggested, I read, that they would see teaching the responsibility of using phones and social media to the students and staff. Is that something that's a possibility?
Yeah, I definitely. I think it's something we probably need to maybe look a little bit more at, because I think there is. It kind of ties into us working to be much more proactive in supporting students to be successful in the implementation of this policy.
So that would mean maybe some type of system or curriculum or some, I'm not going to say how, but that would be your part, but that would be maybe something consistent across the high schools and elementary schools. So, people that may move from school to school understand the systems that are in place.
Yeah, no, it's a great idea. Thank you. All right, when we talk about the products.
Mark, I have a question.
I'm sorry, I didn't see
If you flip back to the previous
You
one.
bet.
At the secondary schools now have policies in place, is that correct? All of them?
Not all of them.
Not all of
The
them.
majority do. There are some that are allowing it to be teacher-to-teacher discrepancy.
Okay. The ones that have a policy, how successful have they been?
The report back is that they've been very successful. I will say that many of our sites have no cell bell to bell. They're not reporting that there's a lot of issues with having that. I will say that the biggest issue that we heard was when the schools had access to phones only at passing times and at lunch times. They felt that having access during passing times caused a lot of disruption, both in the hallways and then getting those kids transitioned back into the classroom.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay.
Well, one more, real quick. Sorry.
Let me go back. Just fine.
Now, with this cell phone policy, how are we looking at it or dealing with our teachers?
Yeah, so I think that's a different issue. I mean, I don't think and it is something that came up even within the committee itself, but right now this is directly looking at students. The use of cell phones with the staff would be.
But could you see how that could be also?
I definitely think we got to make sure that teachers are presenting themselves as good role models by definitely doing that. So, yeah, but this policy is specifically for students, but I think there certainly is a teacher presenting and being role models for the policy is definitely.
I think that's something that we really should visit and look at, because if the students can't have the phones, I feel like teachers shouldn't have the phones to be able to use the phone. It's a distraction as well.
Good point. All right, as far as products for implementation, we talked about not having the storage lockers in the classroom or the yonder pouches. So we're looking at things like storing them in a backpack, having the classroom phone holders that they can just put their phone in when they come into the classroom. We will be purchasing a storage device for each of the offices, just in the case that we have phones that are confiscated for somebody that's a chronic abuser, that we have a systematic procedure for where those are placed so we can ensure that they're being safe. And this just kind of talks about how the phased approach for implementation will happen now. So January and February, we discussed this with the principals earlier this month. And then as soon as we get approval on this policy, we will start doing the communication and the push out of this. We have a website that's been developed. Marion's created a video that's going to be pushed out that will kind of highlight some of the cell phone policy. We'll do social media posts, we'll do Parent Square, and just continue to do that through the remainder of the year. So you look at phase 2, which is March through July, really working to get that continued communication so everybody's familiar with that plan. We'll buy any storage devices that we need during that time as well. And then really, for the start of the year on August 5th, 2026 is phase 3 and the policy is implemented. This is a slide at the bottom that has that little link that has a few more of the strategies or structures that principals or school sites can use to allow this plan to roll out in an effective manner. Takes us to the end. Other questions?
Do we have any other questions?
I have some.
Drew?
Today is your presentation, and then the policy will be in the agenda for next meeting?
You have the policy for the first read today, I believe, and then it will be, the approval is actually in February 10th. Is that the next one?
February.
Yeah.
And the other question, is possible to have one kind of follow-up or report in the future after started to receive information about how is the policy working?
Sure. No, that's a great idea. So I think once we start implementing the plan and have some time to get it fully run, to see kind of what is the feedback we're receiving. That's a good idea. Yeah.
Thank you.
One more thing.
Bet.
What we read in our link, we saw 11 policies for middle and high school. Was there something about elementary, a standard policy for elementary in the communication we got about this?
For this?
The link only had 11 schools, so I just don't know if there were middle.
Positive.
And high school.
I don't know. I have to
So
look at it.
will
I'm not
we
sure
get
what
the
I'm not sure what
elementary policy will be a standard one, right?
will be a standard policy.
Right.
But in that policy, it will identify what's expected at elementary and what's expected at the secondary level.
Thank you.
I just want to say, Mark, thank you and good job. I know it's difficult to create that in a lot of emotions and tension. And so I just ask questions because that's just what
No, I
do.
appreciate it. No, it's good.
Yeah.
All right.
You did a great job.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark.
Yeah.
Next, for 13C, we have physical service update. Mr. Simmons, would you like to introduce?
Yes, thank you. As you know, we've been highlighting the business departments, just as the Education Services Division has been highlighting their departments. Tonight, we have the Fiscal Department. Director is Tony Carrillo. He's going to give you a brief report on the Fiscal Department and also give you a little bit about the governor's budget. We will, of course, expand on the governor's budget when we do the second interim presentation and also how it affects our district. So, thank you, Tony. Take it away.
All right. Good evening. My name's Tony Carrillo Jr., and I'm Director of Fiscal Services. And like Jeff was saying, tonight I'm going to give highlights of the operation I oversee, Fiscal Services, as well as a high-level view of the budget, the governor's state budget. Again, like Jeff said, we're going to go further into detail at second interim in March. Okay, Fiscal Services General Overview. So Fiscal Services supports the school sites, departments, and employees of the district. On a monthly basis, we process payroll for over 2,000 employees, And there's different operations within fiscal services: budgeting, accounting, accounts payable, accounts receivable. Overall, we provide financial transparency and compliance, providing to the board financial information on a timely, accurate, and reliable basis. A little bit about my staff. I have a staff of 24. I'm the 25th person listed here. And we have folks who specialize in the different operations. Their work is high volume, high responsibility work, fixed with deadlines and compliance requirements. And they support is provided district-wide. Why fiscal services exist, and that's to keep the district out of trouble. We are the fiscal stewardship and oversight. We provide continuous financial review of data on a monthly basis, not just at year end. And we were able to, during the discipline review of financial data, we're able to identify any discrepancies early so we could address those in a timely manner. We have strong internal controls, as you will may have seen in our 24-25 audit report, which leads to a clean annual independent audit report. Just a little, we have our Jonathan Clement from Ide Bailey here, a little sneak peek. If we're gonna find out that there are no audit findings in our audit report, which builds that public trust with our community, and that's really crucial, and that's a service that my department provides. So this year, super excited. I worked with my staff to create a fiscal services survey that was sent out district-wide. And we got a lot of responses. I got a call a week before the deadline of the fiscal services survey from Karen Johnson. And she said, "How many respondents do you have?" I said, "I have this many." "Not good enough, I'll get you more." So we had 198 responses, and positives, staff were saying that fiscal services is responsive and they provide a lot of support. Opportunities for growth, communication, and training. So we're listening and we're using the input to improve services to the people that we serve. So we took this information and every year we work on 4 goals in my department, and we took the information from the survey and created 4 goals for this year, which are listed here. We wanted these goals to have a theme. We wanted them to tie to something, and that's our North Star. That's customer service. And customer service is more than being polite on the phone, which is really important, but we wanted to provide real service to those people that we serve. So the 4 goals here: time and attendance platform setup. We got a lot of responses from the people from our survey saying, "I like to see on my phone my pay stub, my W-2, my leave balances in real time." So we're working with vendors right now to see who can provide this service. Again, providing that customer service to the people we serve. Streamlining approvals. We have, anytime anybody's requesting an expense, something to buy, we have an approval process, and we have a lot of stakeholders who review the expenses, and we want to go through the approval process to make sure there's no redundancy. We want to make sure that we eliminate any barriers that may be there to make sure we're in compliance and make sure that everything's streamlined. Reduce data entry. Unfortunately, a lot of our fiscal operations has a lot of manual entry. So we're using AI to look at our processes, coming up with better processes. We're using the platforms we currently have in place, and that we're the time and attendance platform, we're looking to eliminate that manual data entry and really provide that customer service to the people we serve. Lastly, growth through cross-training. That's cross-training within our department, making sure when somebody calls, one of my staff members is out on leave, somebody's there to answer that call. But also providing training to the people we serve. We know a lot of people are not financially literate, and we want to break those barriers. We want to improve our communication. So those are things that we're working on here. Again, our North Star customer service. At this point, I'll transition to the California 26-27 state budget overview. So right now, the governor a few weeks ago proposed the 26-27 budgets. The legislation both houses have this information now. They're going to start doing subcommittee hearings, ultimately negotiating with the governor to come up with our enacted budget in June. When it comes to the state budget, things are tightening. California continues to manage a structural budget deficit. Revenue growth has slowed following several years of volatility. The state is relying more heavily on reserves and one-time sources, and education remains a priority, but fiscal constraints are increasing. The overall theme is more about sustainability and less about expansion. What we know so far when it comes to K-12 funding, LCFF growth is expected to slow compared to prior years. The cost of living increase, the COLA, remains uncertain, and may not offset cost increases because of attendance and enrollments. Palm Springs Unified has seen a decline in enrollment, so that funding is coming through COLA may not be the exact funding that we're going to receive. And there are fewer new one-time programs that are anticipated. What this means for PSUSD, so we're focusing on a conservative multi-year financial planning. My staff right now is looking through revenue, looking at expenses through January 31st to put together our second interim report. And with that information, I put together multi-year projections, and that planning is intentionally aligned with the superintendent's multi-year vision for the district, aligning district goals and priorities. We're closely monitoring enrollment and attendance. We're strategically using one-time funding. There's a few grants that are expiring this year, and we're making sure that all those grants are spent, to the dollar. So just making sure that we are not sending any money back to the state or federal government. Avoiding one-time commitments tied to temporary revenue and ongoing communication with RCOE and you. So fiscal services continues to safeguard the resources, the financial resources that are allotted to the district. We continue to be committed to clean audits and fiscal integrity, commitment to customer service and continuous improvement, and commitment to transparency with the board. I always leave my staff meetings with this quote from Michael Jordan, and that is, "Talent wins games, but teamwork and intelligence wins championships." So when fiscal services works well together, we are stable. And that stability provides the resources for student learning and success. So I want to thank you for listening to me a little bit about bragging about my department. And I'm open for any questions or comments.
Have any questions or comments?
Thank you. No, thank you for your presentation.
Great presentation, Tony. Thanks a lot.
Thumbs up.
I really like your focus on customer service.
Yes.
It's very important.
Thank you, Mr. Carrillo, for a great presentation. Member comments? Do we have any comments from the board this evening? Who would like to start?
Right.
Hey.
So I guess it's at the end and we're doing round robin, right? First of all, I'd like to say big gratitude and kudos to this past week of media mention and work with for Joan and Marion. If we looked at that communication that she sent us, the link, the media mentions, it looked like there were 25 different ways, and it reached a target audience of over 1.9 million people. So thank you again, and we appreciate your ongoing work. These are first a gratitude and congratulations to Melissa Galatat, the principal at Nellie Kaufman, our Riverside County Principal of the Year. That's amazing. And she began in 2006 as a science teacher, and she's been there at Nellie Kaufman for over 20 years. And we appreciate her work. The spelling bee winners, it seems to be a family affair with the, I didn't get a chance to be there, but seeing all of the I guess, advertising and great highlights of the Donovan family. The winner being Juniper Donovan, grade 8, and Nellie Kaufman. And she spelled in 16 the word shaman. And alternate her sister in grade 4, Marigold Donovan at Rancho Mirage Elementary. So is a spelling family, and we're excited to see how she progresses to the county level. Our Mission Spring Water District had a calendar contest, and a student from Desert Hot Springs High School, and her name is Nevaeh N., and she illustrated the cover of the calendar. You can get one online for free, and it says Save Water, and she had different details on ways how to save water. Um, We've been going in many different places and doing many events, and this is a gratitude to facilities and maintenance. And I want to highlight Desert Hot Springs lighting, outdoor lighting, and all the work that you all did out there. Thank you again. Our Palm Springs High School Richards Center, so well taken care of for the film festival and prepared for international visitors. And then the Palm Springs High School Gymnasium and grounds, where we went to the singing of the birds and all of the grounds and the people that were there, so excited to help the event be so wonderful and successful. So thank you to all those amazing support people in our district. On January 12th, I was able to attend the APAC meeting via Zoom. And on January 18th, I was so lucky to be at the Martin Luther King commemoration program at the church, United Methodist. And I would like to thank committee chairs, Jarvis Crawford, Jody Diaz, Pastor Jane Voigt, and all of the people that participated in the service. It was just a beautiful event and a wonderful commemoration for Martin Luther King. Also going out to Desert Hot Springs First Community Baptist Church, the breakfast and fellowship community event with Pastor James Baylark and Elder Crystal Baylark. We had a chance to join the kids from Desert Hot Springs as they watched the speech Martin Luther King gave about being an architect and building your own blueprint from the ground up, a foundation. And so that was so amazing to meet Miss Beverly, Quanah Hall Beverly, and participate them and meet the community members there in the church. On January 20th, we were at AXA out in Desert Hot Springs and celebrating every student succeeding with our Palm Springs Leadership Association, our AXA membership, and thank you to Matt Hammond and all of the 11 leaders that are on the board for AXA, and a special congratulations to Chase Lyons from Desert Hot Springs. He was the outstanding student that was picked to go on to, I think, county or regional competition. We were at Do the Right Thing together on January 21st to see our students. On Wednesday with Terry Ketover, and then on the 22nd, we went to our newcomer night, English Learner Newcomer Night, and we were so fortunate to hear Jairo Armenta talk about all of the ways that parents can support our English learners, all about the LPAC, and what amazing opportunities our students have to get tutoring through Carnegie and all of the opportunities, including the LPAC camps and all of the work that's being done to support our English learners. So I think that I've been around all the valley, and I summed it up with those. Our thank you and gratitude to our student board members. Again, we are so fortunate to have you as our team. Thank you.
Sergio?
Thank you, Board President Cornet. I want to thank the student board member for your presentation. It was great. All presentation that we had was great. Jesse Wyman, Jennifer Abner, Mr. Arnold, thank you for your presentation, great. And Tony Carrillo, good presentation. Thank you for the information that you shared with us. And in the 14th on January, I attended the events in the Desert Learning Academy, and drone coaches and safety soccer boot camp. Thank you, Mr. Carr, for your explanation, your tour around the whole event. And I showed up a little bit late, but I was enough time to figure out about the events that focus in train volunteer teachers to learn how to fix the drone, how to set, how to learn the whole process for the drone soccer, and then to return to their site and teach a student to compete with the other schools. And in the 16th, I attended also the spelling bee from grade 4 to 8. I see it in the back at the auditorium over there. And I want to congratulate, all the scholars that represents one of these schools in the school district. But I like the title that Mr. Maybe Joan Boyko put in social media, the battle at the sisters, and they compete in 6 rounds to the final. And I don't put attention to the last name of the student, but catch my attention that the 8th grade student in each round I see that she comforts the 4th grade student, and by the end that actually Mr. Wyman explained that they was a sister, and the one that won was for Nelly Cosman Middle School, the 8th grader Juniper Donovan, and she won the last year District B spelling bee. And this time she competes against his 4th grade sister, Mary Gold Donovan from Rancho Mirage Elementary. And I want to thank the old administrator that ran this phenomenal program, and the old administrator that leading by Mr. Pfeffer was very, very professional, the way that they ran the process here. And also January 20, I attended the Palm Springs Leadership Association Every Student Succeeding Award in Desert Springs High School. Thank you for supporting our scholar. And January 21st, Do the Right Things. Congratulations to the 3 scholars that was recognized by these programs. And also with the board member, I attended a newcomer family night. All the time when we hear students, they don't have filter in anything that they say. It's nothing bad and things, but one student said that his mom said that he don't want to come to the building because he said that look like the hospital. I said, hey, why? I don't put attention to that. but it's maybe the shade at the outside of the building. I don't know. It does. I don't think that is the way that look. And also in the 23, I'm attending the board member appreciation event. It was an honor to me to be with a scholar from Raymond Creed Middle School with board president Cornet and board Claire Irving. I think that is the second time that I had been there, and we think all the time that will be something for maybe half hour, but now it was almost 3 hours. they have the schedule to visit many classroom. And yesterday, I received an invitation from one member at the Riverside County Juvenile Justice Coordinating Council. That meeting is in Riverside. And this is, is the county maybe connected with the district attorney, public defender, all like that. And one of the reasons that I decided to go is because the data that I read in the agenda and the staff report, they show that the Coachella Valley don't receive a lot of funds to support youth in this region. In total, for example, to give one idea, in the old Coachella Valley, only 61 youth receive benefit of this fund that they use, 61. And to give only one idea, Riverside, they have 933 youth that receive the benefit. Moreno Valley, 224, Corona, 118. And Coachella Valley, only 61 in the whole region, in the whole Coachella Valley. And part of the reason that they give is because we don't show interest in receiving support. Not the school, it's the whole Coachella Valley, but maybe one of the reasons is the barrier to drive and be in those kind of meetings, because it's traffic. It's like more than 1 hour to be there, and maybe that is only one member representing in that committee appointed by Supervisor Manuel Perez. And all the other board members are from that area, from Riverside, from Corona, Norco, from all those areas. Yeah, and this morning I stopped in the Desert Spring High School to look the district science fair from grade K to 12, and was very good event. Yeah, and with that I end my report.
I'll be real quick with the board members from PSLA and Do the Right Thing for honoring our students and really encouraging them to keep up the good work that they're doing. You heard earlier we had a electronic comment come in, and so I want to shout out to Julia Aller from Desert Hot Springs High School. I got to tell you, Julia, your comments were just extremely well considered and thought out, and I really appreciate what you had to say to us. And Tracy, thank you for your comments, and please extend my gratefulness and gratitude to your friends for your guys' commitment to community service and the things you're doing to help better the individuals' opportunities in our community. Thank you very much for that. That's all I got.
All right, hello. So on January 12th, I also went to the APAC Zoom meeting. January 17th, I went to the Palm Springs wrestling tournament they had in Yucca Valley. On January the 18th, I went to the MLK event as well. A little emotional for me. My son happened to be one of the students who was chose to speak there. I have been taking my son there since he's probably been like about 8 or 9 years old every year. So it was more than overwhelming and amazing to see my son up there talking about what MLK meant to him. So that was really great. Joy Cox did an amazing job with her presentation that she did. She has so much energy. She's like a jewel, you know, when it comes to talking about history and just giving knowledge of African American history. She's very important, and I thank Joy for always, you know, having these motivational and fun speeches that she has. Also on the 23rd at Raymond Cree, with those kids, it's always amazing because they actually do the complete tour. So they don't, there's no adults around or anything like that. So you get to hear how they appreciate their school, all of the pride that they have in their school. And it's just always great to see that the students show appreciation to us as board members. And so I just want to say congratulations to the staff at Raymond Cree, as well as those amazing students who showed us around. And on the 24th, as well with Miss Madonna, I also attended the Song and Bird event that they had there at Palm Springs High School. And it's always good to see our native, their love for their tradition and their culture, and how they celebrate and have a wonderful time with their culture. And so they had their, I believe, Reed Milanovich was there as well. And so it's always good to see him in attendance. Next, I would like to talk about Black History Month. And so Black History Month will be coming in February. And I really would love to see our schools wrap their arms around Black History Month. I know we do a wonderful job of Black History Month every year, but I'd like to see it get a little bit bigger every single year. It means a lot to our students. It's part of our history. It's part of our culture. It means so much to the students. It makes them feel seen and heard. And so for those who don't know, Carter G. Woodson was the father and the creator of Black History, which was Black History Week at first in February. And then later in 1976, it was extended to Black History Month. And it's just to acknowledge the history and the things that African Americans have contributed to our country. And I like to say that it's American History Month. I don't like to say it's Black History Month because it is part of our history. And African Americans are Americans as well and have contributed greatly to our country. And so there will be lots of events that will be going on in the city of Palm Springs and throughout the Coachella Valley. So please get out to some of those events, participate, get involved. Like I said, it's American history. I will be speaking a little bit more in February about some of the events that will be taking place. And I just would love to see what's going to happen. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to really thank the young lady who provided the electronic comments about our smart home policy. It was really well thought out. Thank you, Tracy, for tonight, your wonderful report. And I really want to say congratulations to all of our student board members. You provide really insight into what's going on in not only in your school, but into the community and all of the community service that all of you provide. Also, thank you to Jessica Whiteman and Jennifer Avner and Mark Arnold and Tony Carrillo for your presentations tonight. We always love to hear what's going on in different departments in our district. I also was able to attend at the Methodist Church the Martin Luther King celebration. It was absolutely fabulous. Your son did an outstanding job, so motivational as to what Martin Luther King meant to him, and Joy Cox has always knocked it out of the park. She's just really something, and it was really wonderful. And thank you for the committee for organizing this. I attended also the Every Student Succeeding event at Desert Hot Springs, along with other board members in the cabinet. It's really wonderful that we actually honor these students, and thank you to Palm Springs Leadership Association for the wonderful event, and congratulations to Chase Lyons for being our representative for the state competition. I also attended the Doing Right Thing, which is always wonderful. They recognized this month 8 students and their families were recognized. Thank you always to Terry Ketover and her board. And the amazing tour that we had at Raymond Cree was unbelievable. These young people do such an outstanding job. There's a student-led tour of all over the campus, showcasing all of the great things happening at Raymond Cree. The ASB leaders who led the tour were so confident. It's just really thrilling to see them and learning about their experience, and really showed their Raymond Cree Middle School pride. And I have to say, the campus was absolutely, it's beautiful. I mean, all of the new painting is really nice. The campus was so clean, and the kids are so proud of their school. They really did a wonderful job. Thank you. Next on, we have student board member. Tracy, would you like to say anything tonight?
Yeah, so I have a few things to say. This one's a little funny. So my brother is, he's at Raymond Cree, he's in ASB, and the day that they had that tour, he came running to me and he was like, oh, like I just interviewed some of your colleagues, and I was like, oh, my colleagues, yeah, and it was just really funny because they're so happy to have like taken you guys on that tour and whatnot, and that was just really funny to know that you guys are making an impact throughout everywhere through Raymond Cree with my brother, and he's in 7th grade. He looked like just went to Disneyland, like just like having that tour. a little bit of a blast to the past. So I didn't get to talk about this yet because I didn't present, but I did. I was on the Sacramento trip in November, late November, and that was a great opportunity. At that conference, we learned some good things. I learned about these leaders, these young leaders that are my age, that are making a difference in their community, and it just it motivates you to do the same, to make the same impact that they not maybe just a way to make an impact. Sorry, but that was a great experience. I was so grateful to be there in Sacramento. I never had a flight to just to Sacramento and just being on my own and stuff, and that was that was a fun experience. Mr. Arnold, that was a great. I didn't get to say this when you were up there, but that was a great presentation. It gave a lot of context that I didn't really know about cell phones and at the school, and that was great because I didn't. It was much needed context. I didn't know a lot of the things that the staff was thinking about it. There was some general thoughts from the students, but good to see that reflected on the presentation. And with that concludes my comments.
Thank you, Tracy. Next up, number 16, Superintendent's Report.
If you can pull up the slides, I'll spend a few moments. Before I jump into that, I wanted to make a statement as I've sat here for the last bit of time and listened to our presentation, and even our scholars and board. And out there in the community who are watching, I just think there's a moment of pride that wells up in us as we listen to our board members talk about being out in the community. Our young scholars talk very passionately about things that they're interested in, and we see presentations being done at a high quality and taking into account how the community and staff will feel. Job well done. I'm very proud to be a part of this excellent district, and that's our focus, this focus on excellence and doing things well. So for my comments tonight, I wanted to make sure that I highlighted a few things to keep us moving down that road to highlighting the things that we're doing very well and how we're going to continue moving forward. Next slide, please. And so once again, thank you to our student board members, all 4 of them. You bring a bright smile to all of our faces every time that you enter the room, and you are an example to your colleagues, those scholars at our school sites, and we are very proud of you. Hats off to you during this month. Next slide, please. And as we approach our Counselor Appreciation Week, I want us all to take a moment and think back to a counselor that maybe sat down with us, maybe encouraged us, and provided that extra motivation to go further. And as we enter into the Counselor Appreciation Week, let us take a moment, fill out a thank you card, a excellence card, and let them know that we're thinking about them. Our counselors are awesome, and we appreciate what they do. Next slide, please. That leads us into the next slide. It is college application season, I believe. And we have our student board members here that are applying for different colleges, universities, or wherever you're going, wherever you may find yourself. And we want to remind our scholars out there and families, there is support for the college application process. Reach out to your school sites, your counselors. If you need any letters of recommendation, we got you, right? It is college application season, and we're looking for our scholars to do great things going into the future. Next slide. Showing up to the singing of the birds with our Agua Caliente band of Cahuilla Indians, being there with the board member, Madonna Jarrell and Charlie Irvin. I too, Madonna, was very proud of our staff and the way they came together to help that event. And one thing that stood out is the young people and the confidence that they display as they represent their culture. And it's a great chance for the district and the Band of Indians to continue to work together in that partnership. Hats off to them. And then finally, next slide, please. I'd like to point out this last thing. Mr. Irvin touched on it, Black History Month coming up during the month of February. And I did get a chance to go to the annual commemoration. Great job by the Black History Committee, Jarvis Williams, Joy Cox, Jody Diaz, and the board member, who did I miss? Jarvis Crawford. Who did I say? Jarvis Crawford, I apologize. and all of the individuals that were there. Excellent work by that team. Joy Cox, hat off to her. And also coming up, during this month of February, there's an opportunity to give and support our scholars through a scholarship fund, the Negro Academic Scholarship Fund. And this fund and this group of leaders have been helping out the greater Coachella Valley and especially Palm Springs Unified School District over the last 50 years. So we want to make sure that we highlight these groups that are going the extra mile to support our young people and support our scholars in the district. So you'll hear more about that. Attend as many events as you can and draw attention to the great work being done. And that's all I have tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Funchest. Number 17A, approval of audit reports for the year ending June 30th, 2025, OE-6.5. Jeff Simmons.
Thank you very much. First, I'd like to thank Tony Carrillo and his fiscal team for working very hard through the 24-25 audit. I'd like to introduce Jonathan Clement from Eide Bailey to give us a little brief report on what that 24-25 audit looked like. Since we're talking about it.
Good evening. Excellent to be here. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And Tony really gave you the end results, so I will be as brief as possible, but ultimately, great job. But with that, there are a lot that goes into these reports. And as you heard from Tony's excellent presentation, it takes a very strong fiscal department, a group, and takes a lot of persistence and also to deal with people like us auditors. So they go through a lot, and there's a significant amount of time and effort that goes into this 108-page report. But what I would like to do is, and so to that, we appreciate everything Jeff and Tony and their team do to allow us to perform the function of the audit and provide you with this audit report. And for everyone electronically, and also it looks like I was able to pull this up, I will point you to probably the best and my favorite part of the audit report, which is referred to as the summary of auditors' results, which is 112 of 116 of the electronic copy, and I believe it's 104 of the paper copy if you have that in front of you. And what you have here is the overall picture of how the audit went. And we are opining on 3 different areas. So the financial statements or the financial component, the federal awards or federal compliance, as well as state compliance. And so with financial statements, these are the numbers, the fiscal, all of the financial amounts within this audit report. And as Tony mentioned, a clean audit, also referred to as an unmodified opinion, which is all amounts are fairly presented and materially accurate as of a particular time, and in this case, June 30, 2025. We had no material weaknesses identified, no significant deficiencies to report, and no noncompliance over the financial statements. Then we go into the federal compliance. So this is the single audit. So anytime federal awards are received by an entity, and in this case, total expenditures is the driver of what programs are tested. And the threshold this year, as you can see, was 1.6, just over almost 1.7 million. And the programs that we were required to test this year, as you can see, were child nutrition, special education, child and adult care food program, and the Head Start cluster. These were all the federal programs that we tested. And as you can see, there were no material weaknesses, so no adjustments, no significant deficiencies were reported. There were no, we also issued an unmodified opinion, so clean audit opinion as well, and no audit findings were to report. And lastly, as mentioned, the third area we opine on is state compliance. So the state of California puts out compliance requirements, and this is where the report is very far-reaching across the district as compliance relates to all ends, so school sites and other departments, and it rolls up into this fiscal audit report or the financial audit report. And those compliance areas we are required to test if they are applicable to the district. And as mentioned, as you can see, there were no material weaknesses or adjustments noted, no significant deficiencies, no other matters to report, and we also issued unmodified or clean opinion. And the next best page is to continue on. As you can see, we have no findings to report for financial statements, and no findings to report for federal awards. And lastly, no findings to report for state compliance, and also no findings in the prior year to report. So with that, that concludes the Palm Springs Unified School District, June 30th, 2025 audit report.
Thank you. Are there any questions?
It's a comment. Bailey, thank you again, and Tony and all the team that went to do this great report. We like seeing all those yeses and the positive ending of the report. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just as well want to say great job and nice hair.
Appreciate that.
Any other comments?
No? No more comments.
How can we top that one?
Thanks for performing the audit.
Yes. Thank you. Can I get a motion to approve 17A?
I'll move.
Can I get a second? Are there any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed. (17B), approval of proclamation of National School Counseling Week, February 2nd through the 6th, 2026. Board Member Tracy will read proclamation.
Whereas school counselors are employed in public and private schools to help students reach their full potential, and whereas school counselors are actively committed to helping students explore their abilities, strengths, interests, and talents as these traits relate to career awareness and development, and whereas school counselors help parents focus on ways to further the educational, personal, and social growth of their children, and whereas school counselors work with teachers and other educators to help students explore their potential and set realistic goals for themselves, and whereas school counselors seek to identify and utilize community resources that can enhance and complement comprehensive school counseling programs and help students become productive members of society, and whereas comprehensive developmental school counseling programs are considered an integral part of the educational process that enables all students to achieve success in school. Now, therefore, be it resolved that on January 27, 2026, the governing board of the Palm Springs Unified School District proclaims the week of February 2nd to February 6th, 2026 as National School Counseling Week and encourages all educational communities to commemorate this occasion with appropriate instructional activities.
Thank you, Tracy. Can I get a motion to approve 17B?
I move the motion.
Can I get a
Second.
second? Thank you. Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. 17C, approval of certificated and classified employee transactions, OE 4.4. Can I get a motion to approve 17C?
So moved.
Second, anybody?
Second.
Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
I abstain.
Motion passed. 17D, approval of initial proposal for successor agreement from the Palm Springs Unified School District to the Palm Springs Teachers Association, OE-4.9. Can I get a motion to approve 17D?
I move for approval.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Are there any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Approval, 17E, approval of initial proposal for successor agreement from Palm Springs Teacher Association, PSTA, to Palm Springs Unified School District, OE-4.9. Can I get a motion to approve 17E?
Second.
Thank you. Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. 17F, approval of the 2025 School Accountability Report Card, SARC, OE-10. Can I get a motion to approve 17F?
I'll move that.
Second.
Are there any questions?
Yes. I was looking at the report cards, and each of them is highlighted in our agenda. Are these emailed to parents? Are they hard copies, or are they, how are the parents made aware of these?
Like, they're on the school website.
Yeah. Thank you.
And we made sure they're going to be at on all of the websites for all of the schools.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Approval of the accountability report card, SARC, for Cielo Vista Charter School, OE-10. Can I get a motion to approve 17G?
Move for approval.
Second.
Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. 17H, approval of revision to board policy BP 6142.8, comprehensive health education, OE-10. Can I get a motion to approve 17H?
So moved.
Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. 17I, approval of revision to board policy BP 6141-2, recognition of religious beliefs and customs, OE-10. Can I get a motion to approve 17I?
Move for approval.
Second.
Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. 17J, approval of revision to board policy BP 6142.1, sexual health and HIV/AIDS prevention instruction, OE-10. Can I get a motion to approve 17J?
I'll move that.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Are there any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. 17K, adoption of resolution number 2025-2026-24, rescinding contract award to non-responsive bidder for bid number 02-26, CCES soccer field and basin repair, and awarding contract to next lowest bidder, OE-.4. Can I get a motion to approve 17K?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
I just want to thank you for the explanation in the Friday packet and the steps you're going to take going forward. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Are there any other questions or comments? No. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. 17L, approval of provide a service agreement with Educational Support Services for the facilitation of superintendent's evaluation. Can I get a motion to approve 17L?
I move for approval.
Second.
Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. The following items will be approved with one vote. 17M, approval of remission of expulsion case 2024-2025-005 to Palm Springs Unified School District, OE-10. 17N, approval of remission of expulsion case 2024-2025-006 to Palm Springs Unified School District, OE-11. 17O, approval of remission of expulsion case 2024-25-018 to Palm Springs Unified School District, OE-11. 17P, approval of remission of expulsion case 24-25-019 to Palm Springs Unified School District, OE-11. Would anyone like to pull an item for discussion or review? Can I get approval for items 17M through 17Q?
So moved.
Second.
Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
I abstain.
Motion passed. Superintendent's consent items. Would anyone like to pull an item for discussion or review?
I just want to give a gratitude note to, from our board meeting on January 13th, the donation from Kaiser Permanente for $100,000 for Wellness Work Empowering Grant, and then also to Altura Credit Union, Gay Men's Chorus, the Blackbaud Fund, ADK, Alpha Delta Kappa, Altruistic, the Women Educators Organization, who all contributed to the gifts for our students.
Thank you. Would anyone like to pull anything from that? No, okay. Can I get a motion to approve superintendent's consent items 18A through 18F?
Second.
Are there any questions? Do I need to read each one of these? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. 19, information. Information item 19A. As a reminder, these items are strictly informational. No action is required for items submitted as information. The board has received and reviewed this information. Item 20. Do any board members have suggestions for future agendas?
Not today.
Number 21, our regular board meeting will be held on February 10th at 6 p.m.
Do we have to state the meeting we're having on Monday?
Excuse me?
Do we have to state the meeting we're having on Monday?
I would think so. Yes. We also are having a meeting on February 2nd, 2026, starting at 8 a.m. Number 22, a debrief.
Move to adjourn.
I'm not there yet.
I second.
Does anybody have anything they'd like to debrief on? Tracy, would you like to say anything? Number 23, can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.